Do you still remember the buzzing noise, the tempting aroma of French fries, and that feeling of freedom as you stepped into a mall food court? Malls weren't just places to shop, they were where we lived, laughed, flirted, and filled our bellies with the best snacks. Today, we're traveling back to the golden age of the mall to rediscover 20 food court restaurants that have disappeared but still live on in our memories. Get ready to dive into nostalgic flavors you haven't thought about since your plastic neon tray days at the food court. Half smoothie, half mystery, 100% mall magic. That was Orange Julius. This frothy, ice-cold drink with its tangy orange flavor mixed with creamy richness was the epitome of refreshment on hot mall days. Its secret lay in a special powder that made you wonder how something could be so smooth, so tart, and yet so sweet. The worry blender sounds, the lingering scent of orange, the first cold sip after hours of walking between stores. This was essential to the mall experience. Although you can still find Orange Julius at some Dairy Queen locations today, the experience of enjoying it at its own dedicated counter in the mall food court is long gone. The soft, buttery pretzel that made mall snacking special, that was Hot Sam. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, you remember the thrill of spotting that Hot Sam logo with the sweet-baked smell of fresh pretzels wafting through the air. Whether you liked them plain, salted, or covered in gooey melted cheese, Hot Sam had something for everyone. And the cinnamon sugar version, pure bliss. Hot Sam was the original mall pretzel, where it all began long before other chains came along. Founded in 1966 at Livonia Mall in Detroit, Hot Sam expanded to over 175 locations by 1985. The brand even made an appearance in Netflix's Stranger Things. Did you prefer your Hot Sam pretzel with cheese or cinnamon sugar? Tell us in the comments. Before the Golden Arches became a fast food behemoth, there was Burger Chef, a beloved burger joint with a unique twist called the Works Bar. Imagine grabbing a burger and heading to a self-serve bar overflowing with toppings where you could customize your meal exactly how you wanted it. Do you remember the sheer delight of piling on pickles, lettuce, or going wild with ketchup? Established in 1954 in Indianapolis, Burger Chef quickly became one of the fastest-growing chains, even rivaling McDonald's at one point. The chain peaked with over 1,000 locations, many nestled in malls. But as competition intensified, Burger Chef couldn't maintain its momentum and disappeared in 1996. Americanized fish and chips with an English accent and a whole lot of grease, that smell wafting 3 stores down was impossible to resist. For $1, you got a golden fried fish fillet sandwich, a paper cup of tartar sauce, and a drink. It was crispy, hot, and made cafeteria fish sticks look like soggy napkins. You'd walk out with your tray hearing the crackle, crackle, the sound of teenage freedom. And that tartar sauce deserved its own fan club. Arthur Treacher's was one of the few American fast food chains focusing on seafood. The chain was very popular in the 1970s and 1980s, with locations inside and outside malls. If you're loving this trip down memory lane, join us in Vintage America Tales for more stories that bring the past to life. If you weren't a Pizza Hut fan, chances are you were a Shakey's loyalist. Especially in the early 1970s, Shakey's delivered a full-blown party vibe with communal tables, root beer pitchers, and the clatter of a player piano echoing through the dining room. Their pizza crust featured a crispy cornmeal bottom and thin, pliable slices. Some locations even had small arcade areas or live banjo music. You'd pile in with your friends, order some Mojo potatoes, and share a pepperoni pie without a care in the world. Founded in 1954 in Sacramento, Shakey's expanded to nearly 350 locations by the 1970s. But as delivery became king, Shakey's festive atmosphere gradually lost its appeal. Morrison's Cafeteria wasn't your typical mall food court joint. It was a full sit-down experience with trays, classic Southern comfort food, and the cozy ambience of a self-serve diner. Imagine walking through the line, choosing between mashed potatoes, green beans, fried chicken, and a slice of pie that was practically calling your name. For many, it was like eating at Grandma's house, but right in the middle of a bustling shopping center. Established in 1920 in Mobile, Alabama, Morrison's made a name for itself with its Southern comfort dishes. However, as food courts evolved and cafeterias became less popular, Morrison's gradually faded into obscurity. While Morrison's offered full Southern meals, another food court favorite kept things simpler with one perfect ingredient. If you were alive in the 1980s, you might remember that the stuffed baked potato had an incredible moment in the sun. At the heart of that glorious carb craze was the stuffed potato, a fast casual food court spot dedicated to the humble spud. But these weren't just any baked potatoes. They were stuffed, oversized, and almost bursting with toppings: sour cream, bacon, broccoli and cheese, chili chives, taco meat, you name it, they piled it on. It was hot, cheap, and ridiculously filling. The stuffed potato had locations in malls like Staten Island and Green Acres, but like most trends from the 80s, it burned brightly and faded fast. What was your favorite loaded potato topping? Share your memories below. York Steakhouse was a proper steakhouse experience right in the mall, back when the food court wasn't just for quick bites. Imagine a cafeteria-style setup where you could order a steak, a baked potato, and even a side of mac and cheese, all at an affordable price. York made it possible to sit down for a full steak dinner in the middle of a shopping spree. The food was simple but satisfying, served on those plastic trays with that unmistakable cafeteria feel. Founded in 1966 in Columbus, Ohio, the chain expanded to nearly 200 locations by 1982. As malls shifted toward fast food and snack-based offerings, York Steakhouse couldn't keep up. Farrell's wasn't just a restaurant, it was a full-blown show. The gigantic sundaes, the candy counter, and servers literally running with the zoo. A massive sundae in a giant bowl with sparklers on top and a birthday siren blaring through the dining room. It was loud, chaotic, and utterly wonderful. For kids and teens, it was a dream. Enormous desserts, cute servers with bow ties, and sweet laughter that lasted for hours. Founded in 1963 in Portland, Oregon, Farrell's expanded to over 120 locations by 1975. After Marriott took over in 1972, the magic slowly faded. The final chapter quietly closed in Bree, California in 2019. Among these names, which restaurant brought back the most memories for you? Share in the comments. From ice cream spectacles to savory customization, the food court had it all. Roy Rogers was one of the few mall dining spots that let you truly customize your meal. Roy Rogers had a fixins bar with pickles, onions, lettuce, tomatoes, and Roy's signature sweet barbecue sauce that transformed a simple burger into a legend. The place had a Western feel with wood paneling, a horseshoe logo, and maybe even a bit of country music on the speakers. You could order a roast beef sandwich or a fried chicken platter and feel like you were getting a real meal. The biggest draw was that fixins bar. Everyone had their own way of piling it high and turning a basic sandwich into a masterpiece. If you were lucky enough to dine at the Magic Pan, you might remember the thrill of watching fresh crepes being made in a unique spinning pan. The Magic Pan brought a touch of France to the mall, serving both sweet and savory crepes that felt luxurious yet accessible. Imagine treating yourself to a creamy chicken-stuffed crepe or a rich chocolate one, all with a hint of Parisian flair. This wasn't fast food, it was culinary theater. The chain launched in the 1960s and peaked in the 70s and early 80s. But as food court trends shifted toward faster, simpler fare, the Magic Pan couldn't keep up with the quicker pace. The Great Steak and Potato Company was a mall food court gem that combined the heartiest cheesesteak sandwiches with loaded baked potatoes. Imagine a fresh, hot cheesesteak made to order, piled high with peppers, onions, and melted cheese, paired with a giant baked potato overflowing with sour cream, bacon, and chives. For anyone looking for a truly filling meal, Great Steak and Potato was the ideal choice. Did you ever feel that mall food court dilemma where you wanted something more substantial than just a slice of pizza? This place was the answer, delivering comfort food done right every single time. If you could bring one mall food court restaurant back today, which one would it be? We're curious to hear your pick. Speaking of satisfying cravings, one chain dared to combine two completely different cuisines. Founded in 1956 in Pasadena, California, Pup N Taco was a weird fusion of American and Mexican fast food, a place where you could grab both a hot dog and a taco in one go. Imagine a hot dog in one hand, a crunchy taco in the other. Pup N Taco offered a unique combination that satisfied every craving. Whether you wanted a chili dog or a bean burrito, this place had you covered. Pup N Taco was ahead of its time, blending flavors and cultures in a fun and fresh way. The chain had over 100 locations in Southern California. In the 80s, Taco Bell acquired the locations, and the brand gradually disappeared. Before rotisserie chicken became a grocery store staple, there was Kenny Rogers Roasters. This wasn't just a food court spot, it was a place to sit down and enjoy a hearty, home-cooked style meal. Founded by country music star Kenny Rogers in 1991. The chain brought charcoal rotisserie chicken to mall food courts. Besides the chicken, diners loved the fluffy corn muffins and Southern-style side dishes. It was even famous enough to be featured in an episode of Seinfeld. Despite its pop culture success, the chain filed for bankruptcy in 1998. If you're craving it today, you'll need to fly to Asia, where it's thriving with hundreds of locations. Rotisserie chicken wasn't the only sandwich game in town. Established in 1964 by three high school friends from New Jersey, Blimpie was one of the pioneers of the sub-style sandwich chain model. Fresh, made to order, and with endless customization options, sub-sandwiches were a natural fit for the mall crowd, because sub-shops allowed you to customize your sandwich with healthier options, like vegetables, whole wheat bread, or leaner meats. It was often seen as a healthier choice. Blimpie quickly found its market and expanded to about 1,800 locations. But while rival chain Subway launched just a year later and went on to thrive, Blimpie steadily declined. Today, you're more likely to find them in gas stations than mall food courts. Reddit is rife with threads lamenting the loss of Pretzel Time, a mall food court favorite. Many people recall being drawn away from Sam Goody, Radio Shack, or Walden Books by the tantalizing aroma of fresh, hot pretzels. Some say they made special trips to the mall just for these pretzels. Workers recall making the pretzels right there in the mall, and if that's not great marketing, what is? In 2007, Pretzel Time was acquired by Nexing Brands, which promised more locations and franchising opportunities. The chain had merged with Pretzel Maker by 2010. While the merger was successful with over 280 locations by 2024, the distinct Pretzel Time brand is gone. If you don't remember Chicken George, you seriously missed out. This Baltimore-based chain first opened in 1979 and grew rapidly throughout the 1980s, opening locations in 5 states on both coasts. According to fond memories shared on social media, they served some seriously delicious chicken and biscuits. Their dirty rice was also a huge hit, and connoisseurs say no modern chicken chain can compare. Once the largest black-owned fast food company in the country, the chain changed hands in 1989. Despite efforts to revive it, all attempts were too little, too late. In 1991, Chicken George officially dissolved its business. Do you remember any other unique mall food court spots we didn't mention? Let us know in the comments. From fried chicken to another cuisine that became a food court staple. For a brief time in the early to mid-1990s, China Coast aimed to be the beloved American Chinese restaurant spot in mall food courts. When the first location opened in Orlando, Florida in 1990, China Coast seemed poised for success. Its parent company was General Mills Restaurants, Inc., with a portfolio that included Olive Garden and Red Lobster. The menu focused on Americanized Chinese dishes like General Tso's chicken, hot and sour soup, and egg rolls. After achieving success in Orlando, the chain expanded nationwide in 1993. At its peak, China Coast had 51 locations, but expansion led to its downfall as the brand faced financial difficulties and fierce competition from local Chinese restaurants. Rack's Roast Beef was Arby's quirky rival, a fast food spot that took the roast beef sandwich to the next level. Known for its roast beef sandwiches that were a little different, Rack's also had a range of menu items from curly fries to milkshakes and even a salad bar. Imagine a fast food restaurant with an atmosphere somewhere between a burger joint and a salad bar. Rack's had a distinct style that invited you to sit down and enjoy your meal rather than rushing through it. Launched in the late 1960s, Rack's positioned itself as Arby's more adventurous cousin. Some locations even had glass in rooms with plants and natural light, giving Rack's a cafe-like ambience. Chick-fil-A's Dwarf House was a legendary Southern experience, tucked away in some mall food courts. Imagine walking by and spotting a miniature version of the restaurant that started it all, complete with its famous chicken sandwiches and a touch of Southern hospitality. The Dwarf House was quite quirky, sometimes even featuring a tiny door for kids to walk through. It served not only classic Chick-fil-A sandwiches, but also a wider range of Southern-style dishes like corn muffins and collard greens. While Chick-fil-A grew into the fast food giant we know today, the Dwarf House remains a charming reminder of the brand's beginnings. Over time, the concept became rarer as larger locations took over. These mall restaurants may have disappeared, but their flavors and memories live on. They were an integral part of the mall experience, bursting with flavors and memories we still crave today. From Orange Julius to Chick-fil-A Dwarf House, each one holds a special place in our hearts and reminds us of simpler times when the food court was the center of our social universe. Which forgotten restaurant surprised you most? Share your stories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey through mall food court nostalgia, join us in Vintage America Tales. We're bringing the past back to life, one memory at a time.